Members, we now resume the meeting. We can now go into the government's proposed CSAs. Timothy, please. Thank you, Chairman. We have circulated the proposed CSAs before the meeting. And this is with reference to the letter dated January 20th from the Legal Service Division, and also based on the discussion with members in the past 5 meetings. The CSAs are summarized in Annex A, and we can now go through Annex A. So 1 to 5 is basically on drafting on technical amendments. On item 1, on clause 4, if you remember, especially Mr. Chen Chen-ying, wanted us to be more direct, and therefore we propose some textual amendments. Item 2, clause 84. We propose an amendment to better reflect the definition of chief executive and director, because 84A, there is actually an explanation definition on chairman, and therefore in 84(1)B, we also made clear that when we talked about chief executive and director or licensee, we actually refer to that from 84(1)B. Item 3, Clause 145, in response to an observation of the LSD, we propose a textual amendment. Item 4 and 5, mainly amendments to English and Chinese text of certain provisions, such as on punctuation. Item 6, proposed CSA. On clause 9, on the definition of permitted offer, making reference from member suggestions, we propose to include the definition of permitted offer to include a person who is granted a license under Section 8F of the PSSVFO. Item 7, on clause 12, we propose amending the heading to make clear the section. Item 8, duties of the licensee, referring to clause 25. In response to the view of members, we want to remove the subjective item there, and therefore we remove "it appears to a licensee that" to ensure that this clause would not be too subjective. Item 9, on investigation, we want to make clear (1, 2, 4, bracket 2, bracket B), to make it clear that the person mentioned in that clause does not include an investigator, because A does not include an investigator. And so we do not want B to refer to the investigator. Therefore, we want to make clear that that the person mentioned in the clause does not include an investigator. Item 10, clause 132. On procedural requirements for imposing sanctions, we propose amending clause 132 bracket 2 to include in the list of matters to be stated in a written notice imposing a sanction. And that would include the time when the sanction would be imposed, and to remind that the person can actually refer the decision to the tribunal for review. Item 11, clause 140. This is in response to an observation of the LSD to better reflect the policy intent to give the Stablecoin Review Tribunal the power to stay the execution of a specified decision. So that is all. Thank you. Any questions on the CSAs? Please provide us with the official paper as soon as possible. Legal advisor. We would need to see whether there are any issues after receiving the official paper, and then when there is a need, then we would report back to members. Members, if you have no questions, and if you need to propose CSAs, you can propose it to submit it to the Secretariat as soon as possible, so that we'll be able to ask members. We have gone through the clause-by-clause scrutiny and the proposed CSAs, and if you have any further amendments, please do so in writing. Would you give us a timeline on when you would resume second reading? Thank you, Chairman. Since January 21st, after 12 years of meeting with members, we thank the chairman, members, and the Secretariat in your support for completing the clause-by-clause scrutiny so quickly. We plan to submit it to the LegCo to resume second reading by May 21st. There have been recent news that a person from the U.S. From an important company said that they would also issue stablecoin. I know that we have been very rushed in the scrutiny of this bill. I've heard members say that we should also speed up the process in our legislation and in the issue of licenses. One of our CSAs actually drawn from reference from members to actually include license holders of PSS VFO. Once again, our gratitude to members and chairman. We hope to resume second reading on May 21st. Thank you. Well, we want to be more innovative in finance, and we have discussed this bill for over 10 hours. Let's temporarily set the date to resume second reading on May 21st in the council, and so notice should be given before that, and we hope that we will be able to give a verbal report to the HC on April 25th. Are there any other matters arising? If not, we thank you for all your support. Meeting adjourned.